While you cannot make everyone happy, but still, Joe Biden's win seems like that everyone, apart from Donald Trump, of course, is happy. And in this video, I'm going to tell you how it is going to impact Canadian immigration because, after all, this channel is all about Canadian immigration. So stay tuned for the complete video. Before we start the video, I'm going to show you the graphic that I just made. It has this picture of Justin Trudeau and Donald Trump. And the way Justin Trudeau is sitting here, it shows how you know cool he is in front of Donald Trump. Although after this meeting, Donald Trump made some bad remarks about Justin Trudeau, which was not favored by Canadians, and that's the reason why they didn't like Donald Trump that much. In fact, a recent poll says that 4 out of 5 Canadians, they were rooting for Joe Biden instead of Donald Trump. That shows that they didn't like the guy. And Canada has not slept well since the US election. That's the headline of New York Times. And I've opened that page in front of you guys. So you could read it yourself. Canadians have been ripping their cuticles off while they wait for the United States to pick up its next president. Now, why US elections are so crucial for Canadian economy and for Canadians and for you, future Canadians? Because obviously one of the reasons is that Canada lives upstairs from the United States, and when it comes to immigration, actually, the fundamentals of immigration, when you are thinking about moving to another country or immigrating to another country to gain their citizenship, what are your priorities? Have you ever listed down those priorities? And why would you skip some countries out of it? For example, everybody would want to live in the United Kingdom, the United States, or Canada, New Zealand, Australia. Yeah, these are the big English-speaking countries where everyone wants to move. And why do we always exclude United States out of it? Because we think that immigration laws of United States, they are lengthy, they are difficult, and one cannot do that without getting a sponsorship or things like that, B1, B2 visas. You can research for that. I don't have any expertise, so don't ask questions related to B1 or B2 visas. I have no information about that. Okay, so we exclude United States while thinking about immigrating to another country because we think it's difficult. With Joe Biden's emergence as a president of the United States, maybe people would want to move to United States now. Now that takes out a huge portion of the competition that we are facing at the moment. As you know, that Indians and Pakistanis and Bengalis, we're not the only one who want to move to Canada, and we're not the only one in the express entry pool. There are people from around the world sitting in that express entry pool with their CRS in their 460s or 470s. They are there and they are waiting to get an invitation from Canada for their immigration purposes. So if that chunks thinks about moving to United States instead of Canada, now it's all about priorities, as I said. That if your priority becomes United States, then obviously Canada will have less competition in terms of immigration. Now, last year, I read it somewhere. I cannot find the page right here at the moment. United States invited 1.1 million people. Actually, they gave PR or immigration to 1.1 million people in last year. And Canada, as I have already made a video on that, Canada has announced that they will accept 1.2 million people, permanent residents, in next 3 years. So Canadian immigration is a small thing still. When US immigration was considered to be difficult, they were accepting 1.1 million people in 1 year. And Canada had almost the same plan for 3 years. So US immigration is still going on and in huge numbers actually because it's a populous country, 33 crore, you would call it 330 million people. They live in the United States. And Canada is a small country in terms of population. It's not a small country by any other means, but it is small in terms of population. 38 million people, more or less. Okay, so you might be the 38.00001 of the population of Canadian Canada territory. Okay, so Canada has not slept well since the United States election. Okay, so the one impact that I mentioned is that people would want to move to United States now instead of Canada if they get a chance. So that will reduce the competition for express entry. That was one benefit that Canadian immigration is going to have from US elections, recent US elections. Another thing, I know many Pakistani people and Indian people who were living in the United States, and they wanted to move to Canada because Canadian immigration is lenient and they give you a PR, they give you a citizenship, and gaining American citizenship is a huge thing. It has so many obstacles. Nobody wants to go into that. So I knew many students who were studying in the United States, but they wanted to move to Canada to secure their future in the long run. So those people now they would want to wait. They wouldn't want to leave USA right now because Trump is gone. Joe Biden is here, and he will have different policies, different state policies, and people would not want to leave United States at the moment. And those people, obviously, they were living in the states. They might have known French. They would obviously have great IELTS scores as compared to us. So they had their advantages. Now, if they wouldn't want to go to Canada and if they would want to prolong their stays in the United States, so that will also reduce our competition. So two things: the developed nations, people from France, Germany, UK, even if they would want to immigrate to another country, they would think about United States instead of Canada. So that takes the competition out, and the people who are already living in United States that wanted to get Canadian immigration, they wouldn't want Canadian immigration at this point in time. Now, these are all my analysis. You have all the rights in the world to disagree with my analysis, and I respect that. Okay, but these are my analysis. Obviously, this is my YouTube channel, right? So, apart from these two benefits, we have seen a great impact on Canadian immigration. They recently announced 1.2 million people are going to get permanent residency in the next 3 years for gaining Canadian citizenship in the future. Now, this is big news and huge numbers. Now, they might have had their resources that Joe Biden is going to win, and that's the reason why they wanted to make their immigration process more comfortable. Maybe they knew that. Maybe they knew that Trump is going to go away. Well, anyway, whatever the reason is, they have announced 1.2 million people. Even if Trump would have won, that announcement would have stayed. So that's a good thing about it. And Canada is going to do all it can to retain the people who are already in Canada who have not yet availed citizenship or permanent residency. For example, students or people on work visa. Canada would want to retain those people. Obviously, Canada has invested a lot of time and effort and money on grooming those people, on grooming them and on educating them about Canadian culture, about Canadian work norms. Now, they wouldn't want them to move to another country or, for example, United States, because that's going to be the next big thing. US immigration is going to be the next big thing after Joe Biden bends a few rules for immigrants, which is uh, likely the case. Because as we know that Kamala Harris is the vice president of United States, and she is probably the first ever female vice president of United States. So now these are the good things. These are the good things that US election has brought upon US itself and the neighboring countries. So what is the neighboring country? Canada. You guessed it right. What other benefits Canadian immigration is going to get? Now, let me just give you a scenario. Because of the good policies of Joe Biden, United States is going to gain economic momentum, especially after COVID, and they are going to expand their horizons. And they already have very good economic relationships with Canada, and they would want to explore on that. They would want to flourish them. And when Canada gets more economic freedom from United States, it will increase the job market. It would enhance the labor market, as you call it, and there would be more jobs in Canada. And because of that, Canadian job market or labor market, as you call it, it would have more job opportunities. And Canadian government would like to keep on inviting more immigrants, more permanent residents, so that their job market needs are met. So these are my analysis. This is how US election is going to impact Canadian immigration. If you think my analysis are correct, give me a thumbs up. If you think my analysis are incorrect, still give me a thumbs up, because I'm not a political expert. I did not study political science, did I? So Canadian immigration is going to get better. All in all, this is a good news for us, for the Canadian immigration aspirants. It is a good news for us. Canada, Canada, Canada is going to open their doors more than ever after the recent US election, and that is a good news. Now, let's take the discussion into the comments below, where you comment, where you let me know how do you think about it, because I am kind of an optimistic guy. I like to think positively sometimes too positively, and you might be thinking in a practical way, and I appreciate that practical way. And if you think differently, do let me know in the comment section, and please no political talks in the comment section, because this is not a political channel. This is a Canadian immigration channel. So if you think that it will have some other impacts on Canadian immigration, do let me know. If you think my analysis were incorrect, do let me know. I would appreciate that. I welcome negative comments as well. It is not a problem with me. So thank you very much. This is Iftikhar, and I want you, as the Uncle Sam says.